Bermuda under hurricane watch as Hurricane Humberto approaches, and in sport, the Jamaica Football Federation settles its financial debt owed to the Jamaica REGGAE girls. I'm Ricardo Robertson. This is Caribbean in 10 for Tuesday, September 17th, 2019. I'll be back with the details after the break. Bermuda is now under hurricane watch with a growing Humberto on track to impact the island as a major hurricane tomorrow night. Humberto is currently a Category 2 system with maximum sustained winds now near 100 miles per hour. But in the latest update on Hurricane Humberto at 11 a.m., forecasters said some strengthening is forecast during the next 36 hours, and Humberto could become a major hurricane that's Category 3 or higher later tonight or tomorrow morning. The hurricane is located about 525 miles west of Bermuda and moving towards the east-northeast at 8 miles per hour. On the forecast track, the center of Humberto is expected to pass just to the north of Bermuda tomorrow night. Humberto is not only getting stronger, but bigger as well. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 60 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 175 miles. In other news now, the Guyana government has pledged over $200,000 to the Bahamas to help it recover from the devastation caused by Hurricane Dorian. The announcement was made by Minister of State Dawn Hastings-Williams following a telethon. Over the weekend, the first Guyanese family that had been in the Bahamas returned to their homeland, unable to cope with the devastation. We get more in this news source report.
Hurricane-ravaged islands of the Bahamas continue to face hardships. The government of Guyana has announced that it will be donating $200,000 to the relief efforts in the sister CARICOM state. The announcement was made last evening by the Minister of State, Dawn Hastings-Williams, during a national telethon. The government has said it is saddened by the massive chaos Dorian has caused upon the Bahamas, while assuring that it will continue to render support to ensure relief speedily to the current situation.
Our brothers and sisters, Guyanese brothers and sisters who have made Bahamas their homeland have been severely affected, and I want to sympathize with them at this time. We're very much concerned not only for our Guyanese brothers and sisters, but for all who have been affected in the Bahamas. And to this date, I would like to update you that as a government, we have responded.
The death toll in the Bahamas now stands at over 50, with over 1,000 persons still missing.
Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is strongly objecting to a recent British Broadcasting Corporation documentary on his country's Venezuelan amnesty registration exercise, and he says he plans to write to the British government on it. The program, The Displaced, which started airing on social media this week, focused on Venezuelans seeking betterment in Trinidad via government's registration drive over the May to June period this year. The Prime Minister has accused the BBC of falling into the agenda of some groups as it pertains to Venezuela. We get more in this TTT News report.
In the BBC's documentary, The Displaced, it said that 40,000 Venezuelans are currently living in Trinidad and Tobago, and only 16,000 of them were registered. It claimed that the country made no moves to register the other 24,000. The Prime Minister said it was wrong of the BBC to quote such figures.
I don't know where they were getting those numbers from. We made it quite clear. If you are a Venezuelan in Trinidad and Tobago, come forward and be registered.
Dr. ROWLEY said he would be making a formal complaint to the British government as the BBC is the UK's state broadcaster.
Because we are small, but we are not insignificant. And whatever we do, we don't mind you saying that we have done it, but we don't want you misrepresenting us in this very dangerous world.
When asked if the BBC had reached out to the government for a response on the matter, Dr. ROWLEY said the information was in the public domain and there was no need for a direct response from the Trinidad and Tobago government. He made it clear that the government does not have a communication problem.
This particular issue was so publicly ventilated, but we don't all agree on the same thing. So because you don't agree, doesn't mean that you should go out and misrepresent the facts. And we are not accepting that we have a communication problem where this is concerned. It is not an absence of a communication that caused these people to misrepresent our circumstance.
And stay with us, your Midday Sport is next.
Earlier, we introduced the artist that will be going up against King Juba, right? So
you're right. What you try to do, big man? This is a fight. Stop bombs and go on like say you are dynamite. You're going like warrior. But the down in the place, I go shell down anybody will come stepping on my face. Come on now.
So you going up? Be ready for the rage.
yeah.
Lock the cage.
Lock the cage. All right. Hold on.
Ensure your life before me take it. Chop up your face like Chucky. Them boy they not lucky. Bust gunshot in.
Labra got its name from the Spanish Terra de Brea. They use the pitch mainly for road building and airport runway. 75% of the lake is in a solid state where you can walk and where they mine. And 25% is in a liquid state, which is known as the mother of the lake or natural bitumen. This is where we start our adventure.
Welcome back. It's now time for sport. All monies owed to the REGGAE girls has been paid. That's according to reappointed football boss Michael Ricketts following the JFF elections over the weekend. Now this comes weeks after the senior squad took to social media to voice their concerns about non-payment. But in this report by TVJ Spencer Darlington, we heard that their coach is yet to be paid.
Sealed and approved. With no challengers, Michael Ricketts was officially returned as the JFF president at Sunday's annual general meeting. And speaking to TVJ Sports immediately afterwards, Ricketts said the JFF has settled all outstanding salaries with the national women's team.
The girls have been paid. All the monies were wired to their accounts starting, I think, Thursday. A number of them indicated on Friday that the monies were in their accounts.
However, the salaries for the REGGAE girls team coaches are still outstanding, with just days away from the September 25 ultimatum given to the JFF.
And what I want is a amicable settlement of the issues that are presently on the table with these coaches. And we have had a decent relationship, but the truth is that the JFF runs football. And we want to ensure that we have a respectful relationship, but people must be reminded that it's the JFF that runs football.
Switching sports, Jamaican jockey Dane Nelson and Barbadian riding star Rico Walcott both won 2 of the 9 added money races on Sunday's stakes-rich 10 race card to make the headlines at Century Downs, riding on the Alberta Fall Classic Day at the Western Canada Oval with nearly 450,000 Canadian dollars up for grabs. Nelson scored in race 4 with 2-1 choice Pearl of Knowledge to win the 50,000 Canadian dollar Sturgeon River Stakes before returning to win the Canadian Doll Beaufort Stakes in race 7 with favourite Zicatella. That's Caribbean in 10. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Until then, good afternoon.